All right, let's talk about lasting longer. But forget everything you've heard about pills or sprays. Today, we are diving into the real science of how you can train your own body for genuine, lasting stamina. Ready? Let's get into it.
Yeah, you're seeing that right. A 900% increase. I know, it sounds totally made up, maybe like something from a late-night infomercial, but this number isn't a gimmick. It actually comes from a clinical study, and we're going to break down exactly how it works.
So, right off the bat, you've got two paths you can take. On one side, you have the temporary chemical fixes. On the other, you have permanent control. We're not talking about those quick fixes today. This is all about science-backed techniques that let you truly master your body's own response system.
Okay, let's start with a really important mindset shift. If you've ever thought this was all about willpower or just trying harder, you need to throw that idea out the window. This is not a failure of mental toughness. It's all about your nervous system. It's a completely physical, predictable response. And the good news, anything that's a system can be understood and it can be trained. So let's do a super quick breakdown of your nervous system. Think of it like this. You've got a go button, that's your sympathetic nervous system. It's your fight or flight response. And you've also got a brake system, the parasympathetic. Basically, premature ejaculation is what happens when your go button gets slammed and completely overpowers the brakes. Your body's hitting the gas way too hard, way too fast. Here's the perfect way to think about it. Imagine you're in a sports car, and it's got a crazy powerful gas pedal, but there are no brakes. The car is just stuck in overdrive. So what's the solution? It's not about getting a stronger engine, right? No, the solution is installing a brand new, reliable braking system, and then, crucially, learning how to actually use it. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do we build those brakes for our body? Well, the very first step is physical. We have to build direct control over the specific muscles that are involved in that final reflex. This is all about laying a strong physical foundation for control. And that brings us to what you could call the gatekeeper muscle. It's called the pubococcygeus muscle, or PC muscle for short. This is the guy that literally controls the final reflex. So when you strengthen it, you're essentially giving yourself the power to decide when that gate opens. And look, if you're wondering if this actually works, the numbers don't lie. A 2014 study had guys do pelvic floor training for 12 weeks. And the result? They went from an average of just 31 seconds to over 146 seconds. That's almost a 5 times increase just from working out this one muscle group. Pretty amazing. So how do you do it? It's actually super simple. The Kegel routine. And the best part is, you can do this exercise literally anywhere, anytime, and nobody even has to know. The only catch? You've got to be consistent. Just a few minutes every day is all it takes to build that powerful foundation for control. Okay, so building the muscle, that's step 1. But step 2 is all about rewiring your brain. And for that, we turn to the classic start-stop technique. This is a behavioral therapy that's been around for a while, and its whole purpose is to teach your brain to recognize that point of no return, and more importantly, to delay it. I love this analogy. Learn to surf the wave of arousal, not let it crash. That's exactly what this technique is about. You get right up to that peak, that moment where you feel like you're about to lose control, and then you just stop. You let that wave of urgency wash over you and pass. Then you start again. Over time, you're literally training your brain that it doesn't have to crash and burn every single time it gets close to the edge. All right, so we've got the physical part down and we've got the mental rewiring. But now we get to the real game changer, the most powerful technique of them all. This is the one that's directly responsible for that crazy number we saw at the beginning. You want to know the secret to that 900% improvement? It's all in your breath. Check this out. A 2017 study really puts this into perspective. They had one group just do the pelvic floor exercises we talked about, and they saw a 690% increase in stamina. I mean, that's already incredible, right? But wait, that's not even the whole story. Because the second group in the study did the exact same exercises, but they added just one more thing: deep breathing. And their results? A mind-blowing 900% improvement. This is huge. It shows you the insane power you get when you combine physical training with direct control over your nervous system. So why on earth does breathing make such a massive difference? It's pretty simple. Your breath is basically the remote control for your nervous system. When you take slow, deep breaths, and I mean deep down in your belly, not shallow chest breaths, you are manually activating your brake system. It's like flipping a switch that immediately calms down that overexcited go system, giving you control right when you need it.
Now, these techniques are incredibly powerful on their own, but to really make them stick, you need to support them with the right mindset and a healthy lifestyle. Think of it like you're creating a whole ecosystem inside your mind and body that's just perfectly set up for control and stamina.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Your brain is your biggest sex organ and your biggest enemy. It's so true. Your brain is what gets everything started, but it can also be the thing that sabotages the whole operation. That feeling of performance anxiety, that's like pouring gasoline on the fire of your go system. The more you worry about finishing too early, the more likely it is to actually happen. It's a vicious cycle.
So here's a really powerful mental trick you can use. Imagine your focus is a spotlight. You can only aim it at one thing at a time. If you aim that spotlight on the fear, on the pressure, on what if I fail, you're just feeding the anxiety. But if you make a conscious choice to aim that spotlight on the physical sensations of the moment, on pleasure, not pressure, you literally starve the anxiety. You take back control just by shifting your focus.
And you know, what happens in the bedroom really starts way outside of it. A good way to think about it is that your body is like a battery. Things like daily exercise, eating good food, getting enough sleep, keeping your stress in check. That's how you charge your battery every single day. These aren't minor things. These small daily habits build a massive foundation for success.
Okay, and finally, this is so important. You have to remember that this isn't something you have to do all by yourself. Trying to put all these techniques into practice, managing the mental game, it becomes so much easier when you have a partner on your team.
Because at the end of the day, sex is a duet, not a solo performance. When you and your partner are working together, you create harmony. Just being open and communicating about what you're trying to do, maybe even practicing some of these techniques together, that alone can crush anxiety and make a huge difference in your control. And hey, just as a little bonus tip, there are some natural things that can help support this whole process. Things like L-arginine for blood flow, zinc, and omega-3s for overall health. They're not a magic bullet, but they can definitely help create the best possible conditions for success.
So let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? It's that lasting performance doesn't come from a trick, and it definitely doesn't come from a pill. It comes from training. It's about a systematic process of rewiring your brain, strengthening your body, and becoming the master of your own nervous system. And the key to all of it is consistent practice.
So there you have it. Science has literally laid out the blueprint for you to take control. You have the tools, the path is clear, and that potential we talked about is absolutely real. So now there's really only one question left to ask. Are you ready to train?